Hello everybody, ProtoFoxy here, coming back at you with another video. And I told you, we're keeping the Energon love going until we go through all of the toys in my collection for Transformers Energon. So today, we are going to jump into some basic class figures with the Terracon Battle Ravage. And you'll notice in the background, I don't have any of the packaging or anything like that, because I've had all of these since they were released back in 2004 and 2005. So I went ahead and just kind of dressed up the background a little bit. Threw in my Transformers Energon, the Ultimate Collection, the Complete Series box set. Yes, the show is maligned. Yes, people tear it to shreds. It's a goofy dub. The animation's wonky, but I still enjoy it for what it is. But anyway, the toy line was definitely far superior to the cartoon, and hopefully I've been proving that point with the reviews I have so far, and hopefully that doesn't translate. I got the dryer going right now, so hopefully that doesn't come through, but it's probably gonna. But anyway, let's get started. Battle Ravage, a loving homage to the original Generation 1 Ravage, except he doesn't turn into a cassette. He turns into a Panther, Puma, Jaguar, whatever you want to call it. Nice paint deco, nice detailing. And you can see how this is going to work. I mean, 2005 or 2004 toys definitely had no qualms showing you what it was all about right away. But we got articulation. The head things. It's actually on a ball joint, so it's pretty expressive. Got your full rotation, and all of this is going to translate into robot mode. So just so you're aware, we won't cover I shot a missile off completely already, as we've taken the toy completely off camera. At least you got to look at the box set there. But yeah, I mean, you can get a wide variety of poses out of Ravage here. Kind of get them doing Jaguar-y stuff, ready to pounce, this and that. You know, just kind of blip there, but he also can, you know, go up on his haunches, and oh my goodness, that's friction pinned, thankfully. You know, kind of go into like attack. Oh my god, this is actually kind of falling apart on me here, but he's, you know, going to attack and strike. Now I do wish, and I did wish back then too, that the jaws did in fact open. They do not, but you know, he gets up on his haunches, so he's ready to leap and strike. All that good stuff, but you know, basic class stuff, which is something I will say I do miss, is the basic class Transformers, because they were awesome. You know, I mean, these were, now this would probably be considered deluxe class these days, and I'm going to go in about size and price point, all that stuff. But this is a basic class figure. This would be considered deluxe class now, 20 years later. And this would be a $25 toy. This was $5 to $6 back in the day. Just keep that in mind. But anywho, accessories, because he does have accessories. Obviously, we see the Energon star there. We'll take that off, because I do have a deluxe here we can go into stuff with. But strip him down, and he has a missile launcher, which we saw launch off. He does have a scope, which is a loving homage to G1 Megatron's fusion cannon scope, and that actually can port in right there to combine, and that was a gimmick for a lot of the Terracons and Omnicons, and we got an Omnicon review coming up too. But these were all meant they could be held by the basic point figure, or you could even bring in a deluxe and arm them up. So we have Starscream here. Thankfully, he was still sitting on the table, but he arms up. We can even put the Energon star on a bigger Transformer, and that was kind of the gimmick. That was the additional gimmickry as well in play patterns for Energon, was the fact that not only could you arm up the accessories came with the figure, and you could arm them up, but you could also put them on bigger Transformers. And also, the tail comes off, and this serves a purpose as well, because it's another additional weapon, a flail, a mace, and you know, anyone can hold that. They hold that there. It's all 5mm pegged. But thank you, Energon Starscream, one of my favorite toys in the line. We just reviewed that not too long ago, and there's that. Such a gorgeous figure. But anyway, get him off camera. Get out of here, Starscream. Get out of here. But anyway, accessories have already been removed, so we can go into Transformation. And Transformation is incredibly simple for Battle Ravage. Just kind of sand them up, flip the... they go this way, I believe, right? Nope. Those lock into place. So, no, it is... I feel like... Oh, maybe... Yeah, okay. So, yeah, they flip that way. Then you spin the waist around. That is going to form the robot mode chest. Flip that up like that. Head just kind of chills out there. You can kind of do little things to get it out of the way, but it really just chills there. And then the robot mode head, come on. I thought that tabbed in. Maybe it did. Okay, yeah, just kind of soft clicks, soft thoops. But there we go. We have Battle Ravage in robot mode. And he's just a little guy. But he's a really cool looking little guy. Now this is actually an homage to Beast Wars Ravage, Tripredacus Agent, stuff like that. You could have easily redecoed this in a Cheetor redeco and you would have got Cheetor. You know, the head sculpt's there, so you can see it. And then again, only additional articulation is just the head is on a swivel. So you get that. He has his spark crystal. But, you know, neat little robot. Again, like I said. And now I will say, because the ball joints on his shoulders are tight and this doesn't really lock in. So this will move, unfortunately. But again, 2004 engineering, whatever, who cares? I mean, is what it is. But the fact that this is a 21-year-old toy and it is still tight enough to do that. And I don't think I've missed any steps here in his transformation, so no. But yeah, all the articulation that was in beast mode is there in robot mode, and then we can get him with his accessories up. Energon star on his chest. Please do the thing. We can give him his gun here. We can give him his flail here. And now they didn't really, if I recall correctly, I don't think you saw his robot mode much on the show. But, you know, you got this. But what I like to do still, because the flail is obviously the best weapon. And we just put back, and I will point out too, I will point out too, that on these Energon weapons, you do have molded for minicom ports, so those can interact with any larger transformer that has a minicom port. But, and I gotta remember how, yeah, there we go. I like to do it this way. So he has that stuff there. And then he uses his flail because he is a beast, so he has more of a berserker type thing going on. But there he is. And, you know, for play, you know, posability, playability, stuff like that. I mean, he's not super hyper articulated, you know, sign of the times, but you can get him in some poses and stuff like that. So again, 2005, he will stand up. Of course, he's going to fight me, but there we go. Boom. That is Ravage. That is Energon Battle Ravage. And again, much like the rest of the Energon line, I do, in fact, highly recommend this because I feel as if, oh my God, now of course I'm, the one gripe I can say that I do have is the fact that that does not lock into place. I would prefer it if it did, but I digress. Yeah, don't know what they're running in secondary for basic class figures, but these are cool. If it strikes your fancy, track one down. I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. I still enjoy it 21 years later. I enjoyed it back then. Really cool basic class stuff, and also a nice little nod to the fact that basic class was a thing back then. You know, anybody could get their hands on Transformers back then. It was truly for everybody, and that's what this is. $5 to $6. I remember when they upped them to like $7. I'm gonna reminisce for a minute. I remember when they upped them to like $7, and I was irritated because I'm like, this is a $5 toy. But anyway, I digress. Battle Ravage is cool. Battle Ravage is awesome. If you like Ravage, if you like homages to G1 Ravage or Beast Wars Ravage, Triparadicus Agent, get your hands on this. Really cool stuff. Enjoy the figure. If, you know, just you have an interest in Energon all of a sudden, definitely go out of your way to get some of the basic class toys, because those were some of the best in the line. You know, they had really good articulation. They did a lot of fun different things, and their accessories were awesome. And those 5mm posts work with anybody who has a 5mm port. So those will even go into current figures. But that is that. That's my thoughts on Transformers Energon Ravage. I'm glad you all are sticking around with me and joining me on this journey through my Energon collection, which is the majority of the toy line. But yeah, thank you all for coming in. I highly recommend. And I will say unto you all this: be kind to yourself, fellow human beings, because life is too short, so play on. You'll like the video, give it a like. If you did, shoot a subscribe my way. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my god, I can't talk today. And while you're at it, make sure you're tuning in Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, for the Gamin' Ain't Easy podcast. Me and a bunch of guys just chat away about video games and stuff like that. Definitely a bit more oriented, so leave the kids in bed. All that being said, I will see you in the next video. Buy this toy.